to the Camnet Community Breakfast Show today, Monday, 11th April 2022. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I am your host, Zipora Mushala, and I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Alex Shimba. Today at 7:30, we're going to bring to you the Biomedical Union of Zambia. That is the president, Mr. Daniel Mwimbe, to talk about happenings in the health sector. So this follows the happenings last week where we saw Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Samba resigning from the civil service. So it's going to dig deeper into the happenings in the health sector. And then at 8 hours, we're going to be joined by the Zambia National Union of Teachers. That is the Director Public Relations and International Affairs, Mr. Godwin Maseka, to talk about the teacher recruitment that is coming. What are the expectations from the teacher unions in terms of building houses for teachers and the general guidelines for the employment of these teachers? So stay tuned and we expect your calls and contributions as we bring to you these very interesting topics. So for now, let's jump into the morning boost to start our productive Monday.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to our morning boost. I am Isaac Machisa, and I'm back. And let's do something quick now. I need that. Let's go. One each. Just 5 minutes every morning. You're good to go. Let's go. One knee each. Two knees now. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2 knees each. Two each. 2. And back here, match. Let's march. Let's go. Let's go. Go. Let's go. And we're going to do a little bit of abs today. A bit of abs. Let's go. Steady, stretch. All right, let's do a bit of abs now, okay? Let's see how many we can do. So I'm gonna lie down here. Join me, come with me. Ready? No more crunch. Imagine you have a coin here, so you need to lift your head. 10, take a break, 10 seconds, 20, no, not 20, 10 or 5 or 15 maximum. Let's go another 10. Let's go. 21. Okay, so let's do abs now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10. 20. 25. Okay, 30. So remember, I need to be taking some breaks in between, but I need a straight 30. After 10 abs, take a 10 seconds break or 15. Let me give you my last 10. Let's go. 10, 9, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So try that, and it's gonna work good for you. Let's go. So that was for the abs. You do that, then I'm gonna introduce another workout, then we'll be signing out soon. Okay, so relax your muscles, and there we go again now. Let's work on the backs now. So I'll do 10 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next workout, straight. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 10. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And good morning. Have a great day. This has been Isaac Matsa, and I'm going to see you next week at the same time. Remember always to have a morning boost before you go out for the day. Thanks.
So I hope you had a wonderful stretch like me. And I'm now joined by my co-host Alex Shimba. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Zipporah. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I can see you had some little bit of stretch there.
Definitely. You need something to wake you up early in the day when you wake up early.
Indeed.
Like today, you need something to just get you going. And that,
Indeed.
That did it, yes.
Have you passed our greeting to our people?
We have already, but you can, I have personally.
Okay.
So you can greet them.
Let me do. Hello, viewers out there. And those who are watching us live on our Facebook page, good morning to you, and we hope today going to be quite a marvelous day together as we unpack various issues on this breakfast show.
Yes, definitely, because I've already introduced it to our guests, Alex, who are having Mr. Daniel Mimbe, President of the Biomedical Union of Zambia, and then also we're going to have Mr. Godwin Maseka from the Zambia National Union of Teachers, talking about teacher recruitment in Zambia.
Indeed.
And so before we delve deeper, let's just have the health segment with Dr. Tesovalika, who's going to talk about management of burns. So let's have the doctor join us.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Dr. Cheswa Vualika from the Medical Women Association of Zambia, and today we're going to discuss the management of burns at home. I'm sure many of us have experienced burns one time or the other. But to start with, what are burns? A burn is an injury that affects the body, and this can be caused by heat, by extreme cold, or by electricity. So we know that burns are classified in 4 categories. We have a first-degree burn, which affects the first layer of the skin. And usually this causes just redness of the skin and can be very, very painful. The second-degree burns are slightly deeper, and they affect the second layer of the skin. And in appearance, this will look wet and may be moist with blisters. There will be like bumps with a collection of fluid underneath them. The pain can also be severe. Third-degree burns can appear waxy or white and are quite stiff. This is when the fatty layer of the skin is affected. And fourth-degree burns affect the muscle and the bones. These may appear very darkened, and there may be no pain at all because the nerves may have been severely affected and they may not be able to pick up the pain sensation. So which type of burns can we treat at home? Well, depending on the area that has been affected, the first-degree burns can be treated at home, but this is only if they affect other parts of the body apart from the face or the genital area. Those, somebody needs to go to the health facility for them to be checked. Second-degree burns as well can be treated at home if they only affect a small part of the body. But for third-degree and fourth-degree burns, these must be handled by a health facility where you have professional healthcare workers, because what we want is we do not want these wounds to get infected, as this can have serious consequences. So then, how do we manage the first-degree burn? The first-degree burn, once a person gets burnt by either a hot surface or by boiling water, it is important to put that part under cold running water. That helps to quickly reduce the heat so that no further burn occurs. You can then apply just a small layer of Vaseline, or if you have an antibiotic cream or silver sulfadiazine, that can be applied. Okay? You can also take a simple painkiller such as paracetamol for the pain. For the second-degree burn where there are blisters, do not puncture the blister, because that skin actually protects the underlying skin that has been injured. A lot of people want to puncture those blisters and thereby cause more infection, and that burn may take longer to heal. Do not apply things such as Colgate, butter, or margarine. We have seen some people who have done that, and what that happens is that it may cause the bacteria to grow underneath it and cause those wounds to become infected. So, in summary, for the first-degree burns, run it under cold water and then just apply a thin layer of Vaseline or petroleum jelly or silver sulfadiazine, which is an antibiotic. Do not puncture the blisters, as they protect the underlying skin. Do not apply things like Colgate, butter, or margarine, as those may increase or cause the wounds to become infected. There we'll end our discussion on the management of burns at home. For the third-degree and fourth-degree burns, please go and be seen at a healthcare facility where professional staff will be able to attend to you. Thank you.
There you have it, quite some profound information from the health segment. And thank you, Dr. Valika, for that information. and be reminded that that segment is actually going for grabs in terms of advertisement and just publicity purposes for companies who might be interested out there. So we're inviting everyone to just come on board and sponsor that segment. Right about now, we jump into another segment which is quite interesting, showing you the money market, how it looks like on today, April 11th, 2022. And this is how the money market looks like. So the United States dollars is buying at 17 kwacha point 35 in way and selling at 17 kwacha point 69 in way. The Great British Pound is buying at 22 kwacha point 55 in way and selling at 22 kwacha point 99 in way. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha point 89 in way and selling at 19 kwacha point 26 in way. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha point 18 in way and selling at 1 kwacha point 20 in way. There I have it. There's a bit of stability with the kwacha for the past 2 weeks that we've reviewed. Have you noticed that support?
Yes, it's been really a great improvement in terms of stability, because people are looking forward to a stable exchange rate, so that we can also see prices of commodities actually stabilize.
Indeed. And talking of prices, the other day I was in town. I wanted to get some stuff. Okay. It's quite something out there, especially with the fuel hike. I felt it on a personal level, like, okay, this is what people are now talking about. Yeah, so there's about to these big equipment or utensils and everything, because I was buying something for the kitchen. There was about 15% increase. So if you're finding it at 4,500, now you find it at 4,850 in the CBD. So I was like, okay, wow, this is quite
now from 10 kwacha, from somewhere like 7 kwacha, it has now gone to like 10 kwacha.
Yeah,
so really, that's been a significant increment.
So that's it. If you're about to go out for business and other endeavors, really that's how the money market looks like. And be reminded that also this part is actually up for grabs in terms of advertisement. You can come through to Camnet TV and you'll get discussion around you actually grabbing that slot for advertisement.
Okay, we're now going to move into zooming the headlines, Alex. And there's this story about that old woman from Kasupe area.
I remember
which we've been doing, the old woman who was allegedly abandoned by her family on witchcraft allegations. And so finally we saw the Seventh-day Adventist Church, as well as the civic leaders, the councillor, area MP, and district commissioner, just working together in collaboration to actually build for her a house, a one-roomed house, because they're where she lives alone. So they're saying she didn't really need like a big house and all that. So yesterday we saw them actually handing over the house officially to her, meaning she no longer has to live in that shack, because previously she used to live in an open shack.
Yeah, I remember.
But now she no longer has to live there because she has permanent shelter. Wow. So I think we can just take a look at that story on the house that was built with the old woman and discuss more when we come back. From living a life without hope in an open shack, the story of Tisatenji Band, an old woman of Kasupe area in Chilanga district, has completely turned around after the Seventh-day Adventist SDA main church in Lusaka Shtunga compound came on board to construct a one-roomed house for her. The health of the old woman who was living in the dilapidated structure was at risk, as she is also asthmatic. Civic leaders in the district, among them the area councillor, district commissioner, and area member of parliament, had earlier stepped in to put up a tent for her as a temporary measure. Following the story of the old woman, which was aired on Camnet TV, youth from the SDA main church in Tunga compound contributed funds amounting to 22,000 kwacha for the construction of the house. Speaking during the handover of the house, SDA pastor Samaka Ikahangu says Christians should lead by example in helping others.
And this year we were focusing on a theme that says loving the forgotten. And so we were identifying people in the community that have been neglected, and then we identify what we can do for them. And for our mother, it was a need for shelter. And so I want to urge our young people all over across our conference and the world at large, as well as other many churches out there, to ensure that as we do religion, let us always identify people that need help, and where we can, we go and assist.
Area Councillor Mr. Tungenengene Chinoya has also added his voice.
As earlier announced by our chair from the church, where he said this is not a total closure to helping our mother. She will need food, and as government we are also trying at least every month to make some contributions. But again, through the community and the church, I'm appealing that we continue helping our mother.
Meanwhile, an Adventist youth has also aired the voice of the SDA youth.
But that's not the end of it all. What we have also in plan is that we are organizing funds to build also a toilet for our grandmother. And in our handover of the house, we have not just come to hand over the house, we have also organized some few foodstuffs that can help her sustain for this month.
The old woman has expressed gratitude.
Leo nukuva bwino ngako nongonga kuti zikomo kwambiri abana bazukulu bangu yaba nasogolera pasogolo nongonga kuti zikomo nenzo zindikira lini koma vose enzo zindikira mulungu nikafika apo kuti zikomo nilimalizana.
The SDA Church says the gesture is only one among many others to come for those in need. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News. So it is finally good to see closure to that story, because we kept following that story. Alex, you are actually capturing me one of the times I went there.
I like, that's why I'm smiling. I'm happy. Like, it feels nice to actually record such a milestone.
And this actually shows, or just shows you how powerful your role is.
Indeed,
as a journalist, to make sure that you bring change to this country. You have to advocate for change. Alex, you need to give me an award.
Bravo to that.
Give me an award for that story.
You got it.
No, actually, I think I'll talk to Pastor Victoria. She has to give me an award. Look at the change I brought.
I'm sure she's watching, but bravo for that, and congratulations for reaching that quite a milestone record. For that, it's good for her to start a new life.
Because remember the time we went there, she was coughing. Remember we went there together, living in that open shelter and in the rain. It was really terrible. But
it was bad. Sharing, I could even see a dog coming on the same bed where she was laying down.
She was just sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
It was really, really terrible.
Yeah.
It was really terrible. And just to look at how our morals have degenerated, where her family allegedly abandoned her on witchcraft allegations, because I remember the other time when I talked to her son, the very first time we went there, she told me her son is a teacher here in Lusaka. And you can imagine that woman living in that condition when her son is a teacher here in Lusaka.
You actually had a conversation with the child?
Yes, I actually talked to him on the phone. I called him and he said saying things like Mama deserving to talota and all those things.
Like she can't live with people.
What if she's got a gift of prophecy? Is that it? We don't even know how true that is really. Anyway, but the issue is as a society, we don't have to abandon our morals of abandoning our elders. Because one time we're going to grow old and people have got conditions such as dementia when you're old and you're abandoned because you're talking to yourself and know that it could be dementia. So people really need to be educated on that. But it's good that the old woman finally has a place to go home.
I'm sure even the children will be now visiting her and just, see how comfortable she is.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because now they feel like that burden they had is actually taken over.
About that. So, but that's not really the end. We're going to still continue and monitor how she's doing.
But thanks to the people who came forth to just join this noble cause of having her a very suitable and comfortable house to stay, and they actually revealed that they have given her foodstuffs.
And the government also, the councillor there said that every month they contribute something. And they're also in the process of trying to actually register for the social cash transfer, because she's not on the social cash transfer. So they're saying before then, every month they contribute, and just to help her sustain herself.
Well, quite an interesting story. So what next are we having on the desk of community last night bulletin? Okay,
there's also a story, Alex, which I gathered from Ndola, Chipulukusu area, where we have this woman who was burnt while preparing kima for famine. So she was burnt by porridge, hot porridge. And so she finds that she spent 1 month in the hospital. But then for her coming to the media was that even after spending 1 month in the hospital, her condition is deteriorating. So it's more like her body is not healing, her ears and all that. So she's getting worse and worse each day, despite having spent 1 month in the hospital. So her family is actually seeking specialized care, and you find that the whole family are living in abject poverty. If you remember, Alex, I don't know if you took development studies at school at UNZA, but then like the different types of poverty.
I did not. I took public
Okay,
administration.
I did take development studies. So abject poverty, I'm not lecturing. Where you find that the different types of poverty, but then these people are living in abject poverty, where you find that they can't even afford 3 meals in a day, like absolute poverty. So if the child is actually currently admitted, her daughter, who is 1 year 6 months, is admitted to the hospital right now for malnutrition. So this family is in dire poverty. So the whole family doesn't, so the mother used to do piecework, the father does piecework, and now that the woman is burned, she can't walk actually ever since then. She can't walk. So you find that now they just have to depend on the man looking for piecework, and they have 4 children to take care of, so their situation is really bad. Their house fell when the country experienced Storm Anna that time, if you remember. So it's really terrible for them. So they're asking for like help, basically, to medical help and financial help. So anyway, let's just take a look at that story, and we'll be back to discuss in detail. Zambia's national health care package indicates that health care at primary level should be provided free of charge. However, when one's condition cannot be treated at primary health care level and needs specialized attention, many citizens find themselves in a dilemma as they cannot afford these services due to high poverty levels in Zambia. This is the case of Ms. Felicitas Chishimba, a mother of 4 in Dolas Chipulukusu area. Ms. Chishimba narrates that she is unable to walk after hot porridge spilled on her while preparing shima for her family, and that her situation has not improved despite having spent 1 month in the hospital.
Navana vakufimula tavakwata ngafundisha nukumuntu vakwalesa ndelile mwe vantu vakwalesa mungafundisha kune muntu mungafundisheko.
Youth Changing the Mindset Organization Executive Director Mr. Comfort Mwansa says the woman is in dire need of medical help as well as financial help for her family, as her husband only moves around looking for piecework. Mr. Mwansa adds that the family is severely malnourished due to poverty, as they have not yet been put on the social cash transfer program.
And unfortunately, the daughter, who is 1 year 2 months, has been admitted to Arthur Davison Hospital here in Ndola because she's malnourished because of lack of proper diet. So as an organization, we are still calling upon the government. We are also still calling upon other well-wishers and other stakeholders to come on board and help this family with basic needs, as well as rebuilding the house, which collapsed during the evidence that we expected as a country.
The woman has called for urgent help, fearing the worst. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News. So there you have it, a really, really sad story, Alex.
Sad.
And this just shows you like the gaps in society, where you find that some people are really, really poor. They can't even afford, and health really is not a matter of choice. People have to actually get treated. And so the national health package that Zambia has right now says primary health care is free of charge. But then also those cases, like for the same woman where now she needs advanced, and most people in Zambia cannot afford the cost, specialized medical care.
Yeah, the cost of such services. It's quite sad to even see that thing has taken time for her to be attended to. Really, it's a genuine call for well-wishers to come on board and just facilitate the
because she fears the worst, because she says every day she's getting worse, she's not healing. So she's really like fearing the worst if help does not come soon.
Wow, too bad. After coming from a happy story now, but we hope that like the needful be done for her, and her life to really be restored to normalcy. Yeah, so right about now we get now to the first segment of our program, we're really unpacking the health sector in Zambia, and it's quite interesting that we've noticed and also observed a number of controversial issues, especially concerning the drugs and also other issues, the resignation of Dr. Sampa, all those things in the health sector. And this is just a platform where we get to actually open the phone line so that you can actually add your voice to this discussion. We'll be joining shortly by Biomedical Union of Zambia President, who is Mr. Daniel Mwembe, just to discuss on the health status in Zambia currently.
Yes, definitely, Alex. And is it on Thursday? We actually saw the resignation, like you said, of Dr. Branson.
Yeah,
really, I don't look at that story.
Yes,
so
it has brought a lot of controversial aspect to it, because you should know there is a broadcast time, what we call broadcast time. So for us, we actually compiled the story in time. But later on, few minutes on social media, there's another letter that was being dismissed or being disseminated of dismissal of the same Dr. Sampa after he actually announced his resignation. So for us, we were like, but we've actually aired the story already, so we couldn't add that part of that controversial. Was he fired, or was he about to be dismissed, or did he just genuinely resign? So
where there was that letter, isn't it?
Yes, there was that letter which was being
recommendation.
For the recommendation from the
his dismissal.
Yes, from the Ministry of Health to
But how genuine was that
Cabinet.
letter, Alex? Was it genuine?
We were supposed to have him to just make sure that...
Was there a stamp? I just saw a signature there. It was a photocopy.
He claimed that there was some manipulation of information. As far as he is concerned, that letter is not genuine, if not just a recommendation. So it doesn't really mean he was about to get to be dismissed. So that's how it's coming out. But nevertheless, we should just get a conversation on how best are we doing in the health fraternity. How is the human resource? How is the drugs issues now? Considering that we've had that story prolonged for a long time now, where we've been lacking drugs in health facilities. And basically, that's a conversation that we're now, throwing it out there so that people can actually their voices, how stable our health sector is currently in Zambia. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to take a look at that story, Alex, which we're talking about Dr. Branson, and discuss more. And when we come back, we hope to be joined by Mr. Daniel Mwembe, who's the president of the Biomedical Union of Zambia, because that day was actually...
He was actually present with
Sampa. So we're going to hear more from him about how he currently views the health sector in Zambia. Let's just take a look at that story.
Indeed.
Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Sampa has resigned from government with immediate effect. Dr. Sampa, in an exclusive interview with Camnet News, says his decision is due to constant threats on his job, which he says rendered it a liability for section of his duties.
I was analyzing what has been happening in the past months, and I realized that my advocacy may not have sat well with some people. And we've got this problem, I don't know if it's the entire Africa, but as humans, we believe that when somebody is saying the truth, then they don't fit well in a system. And recently what has been happening is the more I've advocated for the quality health services, the more I've received the charges, the threatening concerning my job and other things.
Going forward, Dr. Sampa has assured his active advocacy in the health fraternity.
Well, now this gives me the space to maneuver and ensure that I do the best thing and the right thing at the right time without any interference and without being dragged back by what might be seen as something, holding on me like the job. So now that I'm free, it will be a good thing, and those people who have been using my job to threaten me and ensure that we don't speak out, I think now it's a failed case.
Meanwhile, Dr. Sampa has expressed disappointment in the allegations passed by Minister in charge of Health, Sylvia Masebo, over the pharmacist.
This is where I'm finding a challenge. Lying doesn't sit well with me. I like to speak the truth. The fact on the ground is that the ministry has not procured drugs in the past 8 months now. Still, the money is not enough to procure drugs. So instead of doing this blame game, the ministry should just own up and just procure drugs and medical supplies. That's the only way we are going to move forward.
And Biomedical Union of Zambia President Daniel Mwembe has shared the same sentiments over the minister's remarks.
minister going to caution them? Even when you talk about drugs, that she's saying pharmacists are stealing drugs. We know rural areas don't even have these pharmacies. So who is stealing drugs in the rural areas? These are some of the questions that we need to pose to the minister, that she's the mother. She should conduct herself as a leader. What Minister of Health needs now is leadership. Leadership that is not going to shout. Already workers are frustrated. They are demotivated.
According to Dr. Sampa, his resignation follows a thorough reflection on his resolve to maintain his advocacy in the health sector. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
There you have it. There, Dr. Sampa was actually the resident Doctors Association of Zambia president, resigning from the from government where he was actually a practicing doctor, now going to full-time advocacy and other private assignments that he has entered for himself. Yet to see how
Alex,
best.
as the journalist, there's a question you should have asked him on that day. You should have asked him, do you have any political ambitions, so that we hear from him? So
yes, if he wants to be president one day or maybe MD,
he has to answer whether he says no, whether he says yes. But that's still a correct question to ask, because those are the thoughts that are coming in people's minds. Like, why is he being so radical to the point of resigning? So just pose the question.
And you should remember, we have not just seen him being tough on government in this regime. Even in the past regime, he's been like that.
You know, people at that time tagged him saying he's UPN.
Yes,
but when the UPN came again, people are showing.
So it's consistency in his advocacy. I mean,
but
now the
then
issue
you
is.
just have to criticize. That's the question again. People are bringing.
Well, for me, I'll take it as an insider, and he knows more than we do. So we get.
But again, we have to, whichever government is there, if they do good, they have to be given kudos. If they do bad, of course, they have to be. But then, anyway, we're going to hear from Dr.
So it make also comment on the remarks that previously Minister in charge of health, Madam Sylvia Masevo, made concerning the stealing of drugs from hospitals by pharmacists who happen allegedly happen to have their own pharmacy stores, and then getting the drugs from hospitals and taking them there for selling. So this is quite something that disturbed most of the workers. To say it was quite insensitive to talk of such a thing, especially when you have to be motivating these workers. So I make remarks to say we need a person who's going to actually have a motherly heart to actually take care of the human resource, rather than going out there and trying to tell them that they are thieves or what. So it's something that actually gotten a lot of people commenting on there, especially from the health fraternity. We've had the pharmacist, should be the union, comment on it, the biomedic comment on it, and also the president himself for Resident Association of Zambia, Doctors Association of Zambia, commenting on it. So we get to look out for really how this story unfolds and how best they can, put together the relationship of the ministry and also the human resource back in track.
Yeah, and speaking of pharmacies, Alex, there have also been concerns by many stakeholders, just these local pharmacies that we see around. Really, I think according to the regulations, all pharmacies have to be like the person behind the counter administering medicine has to be a pharmacist. But then there have also been concerns saying people are employing maybe people just finished grade 12 of these school leavers to man the pharmacies. You know what I mean? So really, those are some of the inspections the Ministry of Health has to conduct, make sure that each person behind the counter has to show that documentation to prove that they're actually a pharmacist. Yeah. Otherwise, that's an illegal operation.
Indeed, because we're talking of medicines which are being consumed by ordinary people. And if you're not really qualified in that aspect, you might as well just prescribe something which is wrong because you're not qualified. But the argument again is that they go through a process of training before they start administering services in that particular pharmacy. So we get to believe that there was really a thorough training.
So if you bring a grade 12, you train them, Alex, that's more like if people who have actually gone to school for years, do you think they are going to be okay with that? Saying I took this person through in-house training, really, do you think they're going to be okay with that? You need someone who's actually trained. They train pharmacists to run.
Indeed. It's quite a valid point. And right about now we've opened the phone lines. You can actually add your thought on what the happenings around the sector in Zambia, so that we get to learn more even from our end, and also particularly the nation, to get actually such profound messages that you're going to give us. You can also actually drop a comment on our social media platform, that is Facebook under Camnet TV. You can like the page and also just do comments, so that you can review your comments as we go on with this segment.
And another thing, Alex, I don't know if it's true or not, I don't know what you've observed. People say the same issue of the lack of medicine was politicized. Have you seen how the matter has gone quiet? It was the past 2 weeks, it was there's no does it mean now there's medicine or not?
Yeah, we've had updates from especially the chief government spokesperson, Kasanda, should be yesterday, who described the drug situation in Western Province, to be specific, as stable. So
we need to go and check, Alex. Actually.
We do.
We need to go and check the hospitals have
because
the medicine been stopped. We need to go and check the situation right now, because you know that time it was noisy and now everything has gone quiet. So we need to know, for things to go quiet, does it mean maybe was it political, as some allegations saying no, it's just or is it that maybe the situation has improved? So as Jenna said, something that we have to go and find out for ourselves and see the situation now, comparing now and before.
Yeah, same applies to Muchinga province, where the province has actually received, this is according to information that we're getting, has received the first consignment of essential medicines and medical supplies at Mpika Hub. So Muchinga province chief pharmacist Malema, who actually received the drugs. Okay, let me just hold on to that thought. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Camnet.
Yes.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm alright, thanks. And how are you, brother and sister over there?
We are doing well.
Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
This is Nyanga, right, calling to you from Breafast.
Great. Your comment, sir?
Yes. I'm indeed connected to. I've been in touch with the water gas promotion in that place where the resident doctor was addressing the issue of designation and probably the situation of medicine and our hospitals. Well, I want to just confess to you that I last received some medication from a public health institution last year in March when I had COVID-19. And the medication I received, I don't know whether it was the zinc sulfate or something, and Pericon. Those are the two medications I received last. Anyway, this still doesn't give an excuse that probably there hasn't been medication for too long in hospitals and all that. But what we don't have to do is to blame and condemn the current regime on pretext that there is no medication in hospitals, as if this is when we are having this situation in the country. The situation has been there for too long. What we need to address right now is to push the current regime to restore the situation in hospitals. I'm not blaming them, but what I'm seeing happening in most sections of the media, that is the television, the radio, as well as this social media platform, is that the government is being blamed and condemned as well. This is the situation that has started today. Meanwhile, the situation started a long time ago when we had been receiving this prescription. In total, I had about this medication types that I was supposed to have the time I was diagnosed with COVID-19. But I was only given 2 because they were the only ones that were available at the pharmacy in that particular time. The rest, I was given a prescription to go and buy, which means it is not something that has been happening. It's not something that is happening for the first time. It's been happening for too long, and we have to call upon the government to correct the situation and not condemning them as though they are the ones that have created the situation, when in fact, when they came into the situation was already at hand, it was already existing. too bad that it has led to the loss of the job of our health sector. I don't know whether his advocation was somehow affected because he was employed. I don't know, but anyway, it's really sad that he has lost his employment. I don't know whether I can be allowed also to comment on something I saw in the deadline in paper.
What is it related to health?
No, it's not related to health.
We might be reluctant on that.
Okay. In conclusion.
Sure.
I really have an experience of having lived in these rural parts of the country, and I can assure you there's actually more attention needed to these rural health posts than even what we are doing advocating for in the urban areas. I'll take, for instance, we do the rural health post in the chief known as the chief dog on the banks of the Bukanda Farm. I usually visit that area, and the situation is really, really, really bad. I'm telling you, because there are about only two staff sitting there. One is not there, the other one remains. That one person is the one that is supposed to attend to pregnant mothers, probably those that are supposed to deliver, the sick people, and all that. And now this health post is a very, very small structure which is supposed to cater for all the needs that are needed for people that are sick. And looking at the area, it's a very big area. There are a lot of people living in that area. So my emphasis is that please, let's not take the next year as government to leave the rural health post. They need a lot of attention, especially those that are very deep in rural areas, not even closer to the main road, because they are rarely visited. Please pay attention to such places.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
I don't know how many people die of malaria every year. People I know, families I know, but lose their loved ones out of malaria.
As you conclude, sir. As you conclude?
I think I've exhausted all my points that I was supposed to exhaust this morning, unless there are questions coming from you.
Not at the moment. Thank you so much for that contribution.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. Quite
a number of issues.
A number of issues, yeah. It seems like he's quite paying attention on the ground there. And thank you for that call and the information that we've actually reviewed on this platform. So there's an issue of health facilities in the rural areas not being, being paid much attention to by government. And also he opens up with something that is quite also profound, where he talks of not us blaming the government totally on the issue of lacking medicines. Moreover, like I earlier read, the spokesperson, government chief spokesperson, Madam Trench Kasanda, made mention that now the issue is stabilizing. So I'm sure they're doing their level best in just trying to restore, normalcy as far as the medicine supplies is concerned. Yeah, I don't know if you had actually gotten some points from there.
Yes, definitely. I think I was just saying let's not blame the new government. This is an issue that has been there really, and all that. But anyway, the main concern from stakeholders is normalization, because you can't really start doing blame games. When a new administration takes over, they have to make sure that everything is fine, whether they're the ones who actually caused that. But then, anyway, people are just concerned about many years. For example, this year Zambia is turning 58. So they're saying 58 years after independence, the health sector is still limping in Zambia. So basically, people are just concerned about sanity in the health sector, being a country that has been independent for a very, very long time. So I don't think there's anyone out there who's saying, oh, because it's this administration. So it's just government in general has to make sure that everything in the health sector is in order.
Yeah, according to information that we have in, like how earlier said, the Mchinga province has actually received about 45 tons, of medicines, and that is through Zambia Medicine and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA. And they are saying more consignments are expected yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, for yesterday. So we are seeing this, response from government to just get the health fraternity to normalcy, back to normal happenings, so that we get to see the citizens out there being well, serviced. So basically that's it we having for today on that platform. So you can actually add your thoughts. What are the things that we need to take note of in terms of the health sector? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, your volume is quite low. Can you actually increase it?
Hello?
Hello. Yes, Mama, we can hear you. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
I've lost that call. Please make sure you are somewhere where it's good network.
Some
places are quite dead spots for network, Yeah, like talking of dead spots, there's this area when you're on phone at my place, somewhere in Livala South here. When you're on phone, it would literally cut because there's no network. Just that area. So I always look around. What's here? So there are such dead spots in terms of network. So just stand somewhere where you believe that this place is good for phone calls, so that we don't get that feedback. Yes. You can call back, we'll be able to accommodate you. Yes.
And one thing, Alex, that I've been thinking about is the resignation of the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia president from the civil service. That tells you that you have a lot coming now, especially now that you no longer be in the civil service, because from the story that earlier played, it says that he didn't want the job to hold him back. So I can just imagine.
It was like a liability for him.
I can just imagine now what we are to expect now that he's independent.
Revelations after revelation. Go deeper, Papa. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Seems you have lost that call as well. I wonder what's happening, Alex.
Yeah, what is it?
On a Monday morning, a happy Monday morning today. We're just losing calls.
And by the way, did we mention that it's actually Easter week?
It is Easter week.
Easter week, so yesterday we
on Friday we're having Good Friday.
Yeah.
Holy Saturday, Resurrection Sunday.
Yeah. Did you even attend the service yesterday?
That's a story for another day.
I know, right? But yeah, so just prepare yourself.
But I do pray on my own anyway.
That if you are Christians and you do celebrate Good Friday, so it's coming up on Friday. Yeah. Back to our topic, Zipporah. You were talking about the much revelations that we
that now, since he's resigned from the civil service, to make sure that he didn't have anything holding him back, because as a civil servant, of course, you have got all these limitations. But then with him resigning, I can just imagine what we have coming our way.
For the media, it's a kudos because it's such controversy in the public domain. So we get another phone call. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wow, 3 calls down the line cut. Please make sure you climb on that top hilltop so that you can get you and you participate in this particular topic. So right about now we're going to be joined in by, for a short period, just to get to conclude this particular topic, Mr. Daniel Mwimbe, who's actually Biomedical Union of Zambia president, was in to just conclude on this issue of health sector in Zambia. Let's just take a short break, and when we get back, we'll be with Mr. Mwimbe in the studios. Stay tuned.
On Monday, 11th April 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Dr. Chishimba Kambwili, PF presidential aspiring candidate.
You can't do this in public with show me. This is not right. No, but this is not right. Even when he was on the cross, feeling the pain, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do." Equally, I'm a Christian, and that's my life. Where I come from, they say, "Nalikwevele tabulapo, nalikwevele tabulapo." Elo kabili wa kweve mfo ya kwa nopo, mutanji. But sometimes I'm misunderstood.
Don't miss as they discuss the state of the nation on TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to our breakfast show. In case you want to add your thought on our previous topic on health, you can actually do. But right about now, we're switching to another topic we have for you to unpack on this platform, which is actually another topic which is interesting and trending at the moment, which is actually the teachers' recruitment. We got an announcement last time by the commission to say they were going to recruit the 30,000 teachers. So we get to unpack that topic with now in our studios the Zambia National Union for Teachers, Zanut Public Relations and International Affairs, Mr. Godwin Maseka. Good morning, sir, and welcome to our studios.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Yes, so it's your first time coming here?
Yeah, it's actually my first time, but
I hope it will be a good experience.
Good morning, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so very much.
So let's just jump right into it from even before we get to discuss the 30,000 teachers recruitment. The Zambia National Union for Teachers, what's your mandate really in terms of what's your contribution to the teaching sector?
Thank you so very much. Zambia National Union of Teachers, like any other union, is mandated to ensure that workers' rights are not violated but protected, and ensuring that quality delivery of education is enhanced in our country. I think in so doing, we add value to the education sector. You appreciate the fact that yesterday's labor movement was more or less like antagonistic, but today's unionism is about dialogue and ensuring that our workers deliver to standard expected in the best interest and benefit of our nation at large.
Okay, and right now, how do you look at the teaching sector in Zambia? Do you feel that teachers are delivering to expectations?
Oh, thank you very much, Madam Zbola, for such a wonderful question. Delivering, I can say yes, they are delivering to standard expected, although in certain areas, of course, we have challenges. And these challenges, as the situation is obtaining on the ground, you will discover most of our rural parts as well as remote areas are mostly hit by lack of teachers, which we believe and trust that the pronouncement of the recruitment of 8,000 is going to actually do justice to the challenge of not having enough teachers in most parts of our rural areas as well as remote areas.
Let's talk about the decentralization approach that they've taken in terms of recruiting at the district level. What's your comment on that? Is it a good move that you can actually appreciate?
Thank you so very much. The decentralization process is actually a welcome move. And in this regard, therefore, government has instituted what we refer to as human resource management committees, headed by the district education board secretary. This committee has actually people who are within the Ministry of General Education, that is the district education board secretary, the district education standard officers, the human resource officer based at the DEB's office, and we have two personnel outside the Ministry of General Education who happens to be one chairperson, the other one becomes vice chairperson. And above all, we also have union leaders throughout the 116 who are actually positioned to sit on these committees. And in our view, this is how it ought to be, in the sense that transparency and accountability is going to be enhanced. Besides the process of the decentralization itself, you agree with me that individual applicants are not taking these application letters to the DEB's office direct, but there is a process where teachers, our prospecting teachers, are expected to send their application through the post office. What does that entail? You and me, you agree with me that familiarity brings content, meaning as many people, if it were possible, were given chance to mingle around with the district education board secretary's office and personnel there, a lot of issues would have actually transpired. Because as people are going to be talking to the district education board secretary direct, one would have incurred issues like corruption, issues like nepotism, but all these things, I'm sure, have been curtailed. And the only document that is going to speak on behalf of all the applicants will be their documents that they have actually sent or posted to these district education board secretaries' offices.
Indeed. I've quite experienced that, because I happen to have my dad who's actually at the DEB's office, one of the districts which I can't. But me being just a son, you know, from the time the advert came through, I've been receiving phone calls from my friends. Bro, so what's up? What's up? How are you going to work? So I'm like, I don't even know how the system works in the DEB's office. So basically, are we seeing that there's now an end to such things that we were happen to have in our sales connections? Totally?
The issues of connections, of course, will be curtailed. But human beings being what they are, we may equally not fully know behind the closed doors. But what we are saying is that the people who are mandated to carry out this responsibility are people coming from different sectors.
In the committee?
In the committee, not everyone there is coming from the Ministry of Education. So I'm sure there is a cap that has been put in place to ensure that whatever connection would have been there are curtailed. And two, the district education board secretary is not going to sit direct on that committee. He is a responsible officer, meaning that when the committee they sit after selection is done, you are going to see that the approving officer now is the district education board secretary. At that juncture now, the DEBS is given the names by the committee that was actually doing the selection process. So in this regard, all application letters will be opened, and then they will do the recording according to how many applications have been received at each and every district, and thereafter now selection will commence, where each and every person sitting in that panel will have a privilege to look at each and every application. Now, what is it that we are talking about? We are saying, if the chairperson says Mabel or Godwin has to be picked, you are saying, when I pick this application for Godwin, I have to verify that whatever attachment required to be attached is fully attached to that application. And this chairperson has to pass on that application to each and every member seated on that committee to verify that indeed this application has met the requirement as per the stipulation by the Teaching Service Commission.
Talking of the system itself, how it's going about, I took time to actually read out the vacancies form now, where we've seen should be one vacancy from Lusaka at secondary level and thousands of people within the district who are actually looking out for that. Just to maybe lengthen the question more further, the encouraging of locals to apply for a certain district, how is it going to actually engulf all the teachers who are waiting for that same slot? Let's take, for instance, Lusaka, and then the government is encouraging that local people should apply, should take advantage of applying in the local district so that they can, they can get rid of transfers that come about after 4 years. But then, how do we ensure that we have all the people in that particular district?
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you for making a reference to Lusaka, where we are saying there's only one.
Yeah, that's at secondary level, to be specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and me will agree that when the Teaching Service Commission was sitting in Chilanga, an observation was made on the overstaffing levels in Lusaka. And this actually implies that we have more teachers who are based in urban areas compared to the numbers of teachers that are in rural and remote areas. So even when we are talking about this recruitment exercise, when the audit was carried out, it was discovered indeed there was a serious migration of human resource in terms of teachers from rural and remote areas to urban areas. So as the situation stands, I think in one way or another, most urban schools are not as hit as the rural areas and remote areas are. Hence, maybe what you saw in terms of the numbers. However, when we are talking about recruitment being localized, it brings with it added advantage. Allow me to cite the primary sector. Primary sector, you agree that when we are talking about teaching at primary level at grade 1 is in a local language. That is grade 1 up to grade 4. Thereafter now, you will switch to the medium of exchange that we usually use, and that is English. So, as they engage the learners at grade 1 up to grade 4, you agree that the people who are locally based in the areas where they will be posted, it becomes very easy for them to ensure that they communicate effectively with the learners before it actually comes to the time when they are going to transfer into the use of English. So that is an added advantage. But that's not to say people who do not belong to those particular areas because they hail from other provinces must not be given a privilege to be given an opportunity. All Zambians, regardless of the region or the language or tribe, are supposed to be given equal opportunity because they are what? They are Zambians. So we are humbled that the decentralization process is going to give our teachers an opportunity in the localities where they come from. Secondly, you agree with me that the people are going to be serving in the indigenous areas where they belong. It is going to reduce the issues of apprehension in terms of transfers. Most people, when they are used to living in Lusaka or Copperbelt, the moment they are posted to unfamiliar, hard-to-reach areas, in no time, you will discover they start talking about getting transfers because it appears as if life becomes so hard because they are not used to such type of environments. And therefore, if we happen to engage people coming from such local places, it will give an added advantage for the people who come from those places not to start demanding transfers barely after perhaps 2-3 months down the line. The shortages of teachers in remote and rural areas is as a result of such massive transfers, as a result of people crying foul that maybe the environments where they have been sent to are quite harsh for them. And therefore, decentralizing simply implies that the people who are applying in those areas, they know those areas better, and they will be able to be there and ensure that quality education delivery is enhanced. By the way, each and every Zambian has an opportunity to ensure that quality education is given to them because education is the best equalizer. And we want even the furthest places where most of the employees may not be there. the best representative of such remote and rural areas, there is no one else apart from the teacher. Next to the teachers, whom you can find in the remotest or hard to reach areas, are teachers, and then you, of course you have nurses and agriculture extension officers. But those again are only given to a certain geographical positions. But teachers speak volume of government representation. If people want to appreciate what government is doing, the best representative, those that speak on behalf of the government in hard to reach areas, there is none but teachers. And hence the need for us to say thank you to the teachers, because they indeed save Zambia, where most of the people do not even manage to be.
Okay, and if you're just joining us, we are joined by Mr. Gordon Maseka, who's the Director of Public Relations and International Affairs at Zanut, and we're talking about teachers recruitment in Zambia. So you can call on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen and give a contribution. And so, Mr. Maseka, given that there are a lot of people who are applying for this, you know about the high number of unemployed teachers in Zambia. In the past, we've had incidences such as the 3,000 teachers who were camping at Ministry of Health, at Ministry of Education there, crying to be put on payroll, and they were actually informed by the Ministry of Education that their appointment letters were fake. And we also saw some teachers last year who were employed, and these guys were employed legitimately. Their names came out in the newspaper, but they were not put on payroll. So really, as Zanut, are you confident that maybe this time issues like you are saying of corruption are going to be abated? And really, how would you like to see the recruitment done?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Allow me to just go a little bit backwards in terms of the recruitment of the famous 3,000 teachers, where we ended up having fake people having letters. Allow me to state that the Minister of Education, through the PS, Tekenico, made a clear statement where not all that had letters were genuine. Some used means which were not palatable, and they ended up having the letters which were later discovered not to be true. Letters where they were required to be employed. A screening process was undertaken by the ministry, and when the screening process was undertaken, it was proved that those that were offered letters genuinely to be employed were almost 1,500. The rest had fake letters. So the ministry has announced those that had letters which were genuinely offered to say they were supposed to be employed should not worry. Instead, they are going to be considered. They will be put on the payroll, the 1,500. Now, those that had fake letters, the ministry has put it categorical. Let them reapply. And then the process, as it is stating, is going to capture them, if at all they have the legitimate document that warrant them to be teachers. It was very, very unfortunate that some people could go into the system and of course forge signatures for higher offices, which was very, very sad. But I'm sure that issue has actually been taken care of. So those that had genuine letters, as labor movement, we were generally communicated to imply that the 1,500 will be taken on board. Those that had fake letters, we encourage them to ensure that they reapply. And I'm sure if at all they have genuine document, the system is going to capture them during the process of this recruitment, which is ongoing.
Indeed. Talking about the recruitment, and we have currently 30,000, but within that, we discovered that it's only allocation of 1,500 plus teachers with secondary level, credentials, such those who get degrees and everything. But from that number, really, 30,000 and only to have 1,500 is quite questionable. Have you taken analysis as the organization to just justify why 1,500? Thank you very much. Allow me to equally go a little bit backwards again. Sure. You agree with me that recruitment... Ought to that thought. Don't forget about that. Right, good morning. Good morning. Okay, you can go ahead, Mr. Gordon. Thank you very much. Allow me to categorically state that
a recruitment process is not a one-day process. Up to the time the minister made a ministerial statement, behind the closed doors, there were a lot of activities that were going on. There was a technical committee that was actually formed. Firstly, a technical committee to go around the country to establish in terms of the variances in the numbers of teachers that are required. That is, you are talking about how many do we need in mathematics, how many do we need in languages, how many do we need in various subjects. That analysis was taken with the help of our provincial education officers. Thereafter, there was yet another technical committee which was actually formed to draw up a roadmap how the recruitment process was eventually going to be undertaken. Now, the minister made a pronouncement first that there was going to be an upgrade process. To us, we call it promotions. Now, 10,000 teachers were expected to be promoted, meaning those that had upgraded their qualifications, some from certificates to diplomas, others from diplomas to degrees. You know, the salary scales in the teaching service varies. We have those that are serving at primary level who are in salary scale F, those that are serving in diplomas, they are in salary scale G, and our senior teachers at primary level, they are in salary scale H. When it comes to those that are supposed to teach senior secondary school, that is degree holders, they are in salary scale I, and then, of course, heads of department who are in salary scale J, and head teachers in salary scale K. Now, those that get degree holder or degrees, maybe at that time they were in salary scale G. They are expected to be elevated from their salary scales G by virtue of them obtaining